Welcome to our new series of interviews with Father Bob. The teenagers of St. Peter Parish will be interviewing Father Bob every month, asking him questions that have been on their minds. Stay tuned each month for a new video. Here is the next of many interviews to come.
So, Father Bob, who was the youngest saint, and how can kids our age be holy and still fit in?
Okay, well, again, the word saint means holy, so it's a good connection there. Youngest saint, I really don't know. I should have Googled it. But, we believe that there are a lot of saints that aren't declared officially saints by the church. They're holy and they just get there, I remember reading the story of St. Tarcisius, who seemed to be about maybe 12 years old. And Christians were imprisoned, and some of them were on their way to execution, and they wanted to bring the Eucharist to them. And they didn't know how to do that, so they decided to send a child, Tarcisius. He volunteered to go see the saints or the Christians who were going to be martyred and bring them the Eucharist. And unfortunately, he got waylaid by his friends who wanted them to, show them the Eucharist and stuff like that. And they ended up beating him up and taking his own life. So that's a young saint. But again, there are many others. St. Maria Goretti was 12, and they attempted to, a friend of the family attempted to rape her. She resisted the rapist, and he ended up killing her, and she forgave him before she died, and things like that. So there's some pretty young saints. How can we be a saint and yet still fit in? Well, I think people that really learn to love people will always have friends. People that live a wholesome and good life will always have friends. People that have convictions will be respected, even if they're not always accepted. So I think these are some of the things that we need to do. One example I have is a person called Blessed Pietro Frassati. He was in the city of Turin, Italy, in the early 1900s. He died at the age of 24, I believe, around 1924, 25, something like that. His father was the editor of the newspaper, a well-known man, not a strong, believing Catholic. But Blessed Frassati, Pietro Giorgio Frassati, prayed the rosary and had a real life of devotion, went to confession regularly, went to Mass regularly, would serve the needy regularly, and did these things as a teenager in his early 20s. He was a college student when he died. He also led his friends on mountain climbing trips. So they would climb mountains, the Alps close to Turin, Italy, and occasionally he would stop and have him pray a decade of the Rosary. He would show his charity, and somebody was lagging behind. He was pretty vigorous, healthy, until he became ill. Was a man who would kind of wait behind and help the person who was kind of being a little slower. And so he had this vigor and manliness about him, and he had also a great charity for the needy of his time and a great prayerfulness. And he was respected by many people, and ironically, though, not by his parents, who didn't understand him at all until his death, when 3,000 people showed up for his funeral or more, and his father began to understand that this was a great person. So I think if we just live the faith, there will be people that will reject us, but living the faith doesn't mean we live in an outlandish way, totally different from anybody else. It just means that we follow Christ, even when it's not understood.
Okay. And Father, have you ever been out to Italy, gone hiking in the Alps?
Have I ever been to Italy? Yes. Have I hiked in the Alps? No. I would have loved to, but I have been at the tomb of Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati, but I've never been able to hike the Alps. Father Tasco has.